It's showtime. We are back again. It's Joe Deacon and Randy Kindred here. How you doing, Randy?
Good.
It's November, and you know what that means? It means baseball season is over.
Yes.
I don't know if you caught any baseball this week at all.
Yeah, apparently the Cubs won the World Series.
Imagine that. And it also means it's football playoff crunch time. We're in the second round now, and we got 6 games to look at this week with our 6 teams remaining.
Yeah.
And we're gonna kick right off right away with Normal Community, a nice, impressive first round win, and now they're going to be home again. They've got Lyle Bennett.
Yeah, it should be a pretty good challenge for the Ironmen. They had to overcome some hurdles in that first round game against Belleville West, and kind of had to hang on. And but they kind of step up in competition, I think, with Bennett. And so it'll be interesting to see how they turn out. It sounds like 2 similar teams.
Yeah, I mean when you get tested like that real close with that, having to dodge a 2-point conversion,
Yeah.
and it kind of strengthens your resolves in some ways.
Yeah, I think so. And like I said, it sounds like both teams. This could be a high-scoring game. Both teams like to run the spread offense, and so it could be a fairly lengthy game and a high-scoring game. Because it sounds like Bennett Academy's got a veteran quarterback, which so does Normal Community and Grant Price. He's a 2-year starter, but the Bennett Academy quarterback's a 3-year starter. So that's a good place to start for both teams.
Yeah, and he's thrown for over 1,700 yards with 17 touchdowns for the Bennett quarterback, and they're obviously a talented, tested team. They've been in the playoffs 5 years in a row. Their only 2 losses this year were to two Chicago East Suburban Catholic teams that are both pretty good. So they're pretty good.
One of those teams you're very familiar
with.
Yeah,
that was Chicago Marist, who had a really impressive season and then got bounced in the first round somehow. I don't know how that happened.
Joe's a graduate of
we'll move on from Chicago Marist right now. It's a little disappointing to talk about that. So we'll move on and look at the TriValley. Yeah. Obviously, there's always going to be the reigning 2A champion from last year, and their title defense continues now. They nice win over Rushville Industry last week with impressive fashion. Yeah,
they take on Quoin this week, and Quoin, I talked to their coach earlier today, and he said that he thinks that the strength of TriValley is really the guys they have up front, and he said that's kind of been Quoin's strength as well. So. They always say that every game is going to be won up on the offensive and defensive lines, but I think this one, maybe more so than any, will be decided up there. Yeah,
I believe it was Evan Smith had a huge game, as he seems to often do for TriValley.
He's had a tremendous year. It's really amazing.
Quoin, they're coming out. They won their river-to-river conference in Southern Illinois. They scored 59 unanswered points in their playoff game.
You'll win most games when you do that.
Yeah, that was a convincing win over Red Bud. Their quarterback is his name's Zane Fournier, it looks like, and he's got 25 touchdowns passing, so he's going to be a threat.
Actually, I think he's their stud running back.
Oh, the running back.
He's run for about 1,450 yards and 25 touchdowns. Their quarterback is pretty versatile, though. He's Caleb Bogle. He's run for 400 and some yards and passed for over 700. So he's kind of a guy you got to watch both. And their coach said that their passing game wasn't real good early in the season, but it's kind of picked up the second half of the year. So it's something that TriValley will have to focus on.
Yeah, and they're also riding a 7-game win streak since the loss to Heron. So TriValley, the tests will start getting tougher.
I think every week it will. But boy, they've been up to every challenge and then some so far.
Yeah, and also in 2A, we've always got to talk about DMac now. Yeah. I know they're a 4th seed because of that season-ending loss to TriValley, but they came out and just smoked Orion last week and really have it going again with Jared Reese.
Yeah, they've been really able to run the ball so well, and defensively they've been tremendous. And this will be an interesting test for them, though. Chicago Hope, we don't hear a lot about Chicago Hope down here, but it sounds like they've had some impressive wins, and only lost to Ottawa Marquette, who's a very good 10-0 team. So it could be a very interesting and entertaining game.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are averaging about 40 points a game, it looks like, a little over that, actually. One of Chicago Hope's wins was a forfeit win, so their points against kind of get skewed in that regard.
Your defense is great in a forfeit game.
They've got a running back named Brian Garman who had over 200 yards on just 6 carries last week in their playoff win.
Pretty good average.
You're going to do pretty well with that. And a quarterback named Tanner Land has also seemed like a threat for them. So, DMac's going to have a challenge, but the way they were playing, boy, it doesn't seem like they're going to slow down much.
Yeah, it's hard for me to envision a team totally shutting DMac's run game down because they've got not just Jared Reese but some other weapons. So I kind of think DMac will maybe be able to control the clock a little bit with their running game and take care of business.
Yeah. Moving up, look at the 3A game for a minute. We've got PBL. They've been off to. I mean, we don't see a whole lot of them, but they're quite a season they've had.
They have.
Problem is, they're running into the top seeded and top ranked team in the in 3A right now in Elmhurst IC Catholic.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a tough test.
Yeah. The IC Catholic has been pretty dominant, I think, and it's kind of a tough draw when you have to run into the top seed in the second round.
Yeah.
But that's where PBL finds itself. They've had a tremendous season. Dalton Copley has been had a really good year at quarterback, and Keenan Crabb at running back, and Andrew Zinner at receiver. They've really played well and put up some pretty good offensive numbers. But this might be a whole new animal going up against IC Catholic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect another 50-2 score like they had last week. That was a nice win over Mercer County, though. I mean, you mentioned Copley, 3 touchdown passes in that win for PBL. I mean, you've really got to be impressed with what they've done.
Yeah.
And, you never know how things can go in the playoffs. So, obviously IC Catholic's a tough opponent, but the way they're playing, they've got to be confident in the way they play.
Yeah, their only losses to I think Westville, which was is probably still may still be undefeated, but I think a big thing will be how well they play early in the game. If they can keep it from getting away early and kind of settle in, and after that, you don't know what's going to happen.
So it looks like there are 2 offensive weapons for IC Catholic. Is their quarterback, his name is where'd it go here? Luke Riccobini, and the running back Jordan Roll. But neither of them had huge games in the first round. It was their other weapon, this Lazarek Eatman, had 3 touchdowns, a running, a receiving, and a kick return. So there's always going to be weapons to guard there. And the other thing that's interesting about IC Catholic is in the past 2 years they've only lost 2 games. Both of them were to Kankakee McNamara in the season opener and in the semifinals last year.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So somebody else is going to have to beat them sometime.
Yeah, PBL's probably thinking, why not us?
Exactly. Let's look back down in 2A for a minute. We've got GCMS, nice win against El Paso Gridley to start the playoffs, and now they were going up to Quoin to play Anawan Weathersfield. Yeah,
and GCMS has to feel good about that first round win. Like you said, it avenged a regular season loss to EPG, and they really sounded like they played great on both sides of the ball, and so they're going up there with some confidence. Weathersfield is 9-1. They've had a great year, and they've got a pretty good tradition there. I know we've had other area teams run into them during the playoffs from time to time, and they always seem to. And this year is no different. They've got pretty good rusher, leading rusher, but they spread things out. I think their leader has 784 yards, and the quarterback 64% completion rate. So he's been very efficient, 1,400 yards and 17 touchdowns. So GCMS is going to have to really be ready for the run and the pass, and sometimes in the past I think Anawan Weatherfield has been more run-oriented, but they've really got a guy who can throw the ball this year. Yeah,
and GCMS, quarterback Keegan Allen connect up with Sam Bailey twice on touchdown passes in that opening round win, so they know how to win games. They've shown that all year.
I think that's important. If they can throw the ball some, it'll take some of the pressure off Mitch McNutt, who's their top running back, who he's had a great season, had a good game the other day. So if they can complete just enough passes to keep the defense honest, I think that'll be a big thing.
Yeah, and McNutt, you mentioned he's over almost 1,200 yards now this year?
Yeah, and he had 145 last week and 2 touchdowns, and did a feature on him this week, and he's far more disciplined than you and I.
That's not saying a lot.
He's always in bed by like 9 o'clock, and he's up at 5:30 in the morning. He's working out. He's eats right. He sleeps right. He does all these things right, and well, you gotta hand it to him, but like I said, I don't think you and I have ever.
No, I often say when I see 5:30 in the morning, that's when I haven't gone to bed yet.
That's right.
And last but not least, we're going to look at Leroy, the Panthers. They're going to be home this week against Freeport-Equin after their win over Kirkland Hiawatha.
Yeah, that was a very impressive first round win for Leroy, like 40-12 or something. They went up there and really took care of business, and Leroy got hot in the playoffs last year. They went in 6-3 and then got all the way to the semifinals. So they got a home game this week, and Trevor Bullington's been running the ball well, and if they can, they're kind of like GCMS. I think if they can complete just enough passes to keep the defense honest, then I think they've got a real shot to win this game.
Obviously, Aquino is a playoff-tested type team. They've got 3 championships in their belt in the past. So, again, as we've said before, things don't get any easier once you get as the rounds keep going.
Yeah, that's right. And I see they've got a receiver who's averaging like 27 or 20, almost 24 yards per catch, and has 7 touchdowns. So that's obviously something Leroy's going to have to be aware of. And not only do you have to be stout against the run, but that guy's a real threat as a receiver. Yeah,
Leroy, Trevor Bullington went over 1,000 yards in last week's win, so they do have a ground game that'll be a good weapon for him.
And that's I know last week B.J. Zalesnik was very happy with how physical they played, up front and just in general. They played really a physical brand of football, which he values very highly, especially in the playoffs. So if they can keep that up and get that running game going, and they like to. This is a typical Leroy team. They like to run the ball, control the clock, and I had some of their games last year in the postseason. They would eat up almost a whole quarter with one drive, and that just takes the heart out of the opponent. So we'll see if they can do that Saturday.
And they'll, of course, have a very supportive Panther fan base.
Yes, very rabid fan base. Yes.
Well, that'll do it for all the games we've got this week. And as always, we'll have all the coverage in Sunday's section with all the games tomorrow afternoon. Yeah. And then so check online for score updates, and all our coverage will be there as well. And we'll see you next week. Thanks.